never stopped fathering. I built my life around my kids. The moves I made was based on my babies. No, not whatsoever. I don't think I'm built for the NFL. So there's certain cities that ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be an Eli.
Shedeur Sanders is viewed as the top quarterback prospect in the entire nation, and when you watch him play football, it's not particularly hard to see why. But with Shedeur Sanders comes some very interesting controversy. For instance, his father Deion Sanders said that only a few hand-selected teams are allowed to draft his son, even saying that this is going to be the next coming of Eli Manning. But it seems like Shedeur actually may have already made his decision. Now, I know we're still in the middle of the NFL season, but these types of videos are so fun to make, and there's empirical data of what team Shedeur may want to go to. But before we get to the content, we are less than 30,000 subscribers away from 1 million subscribers. So check to see if you're subscribed and turn on your notifications to help us get to that goal. And now that we get all of that out of the way, work! So Stephon Diggs is out for the season, and the Houston Texans were without Nico Collins on Sunday Night Football when they faced off against the Detroit Lions, which meant that Tank Dell was going to see more targets. The problem? I had no idea who the Texans wide receiver 2 was going to be, which made it very difficult to project receiving yards at the very beginning of the game. Now, as Sunday Night Football started, we saw John Mechie explode for over 65 receiving yards in the beginning, so at halftime, I decided to take advantage of this. I went on PrizePicks to check his live projection and saw that he only needed 6 more receiving yards in the second half for his square to hit. And based off of the flow of the game, you didn't need to be a genius to know this was going to work. So I also saw that David Montgomery only needed 15 more rush yards in the second half for his square to hit. So I decided to test the waters with my first live pick and made an easy $60. Now, if you want to take advantage of this brand new feature, make sure you download PrizePicks and use my promo code Mikerophone to get a free $50 when you make a play of $5 or more. And if you followed me on Instagram, you would have seen this projection on my story. But since it's a live projection, I highly recommend turning on my story notification so you get them immediately. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Shedeur Sanders has one of the most complicated draft situations in football history, and this has only recently become a common trend in college football. I mean, last year we saw the top quarterback prospect in the entire country also trying to leverage his situation to put himself in the best position. I mean, how can we forget Caleb Williams' dad trying to get an ownership stake in whatever team drafted him, which is kind of interesting considering the fact that Caleb Williams isn't even the best quarterback in his draft class so far. And it's a little bit deeper than that, and we made a whole video on it, and it might not even be his fault. This is the name of our video. I'll leave it in the end screen for you guys to enjoy after this video. What's interesting about Shedeur is there's absolutely nothing average about his story. Shedeur Sanders was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school and initially committed to Florida Atlantic University. And everything changed once Deion Sanders decided to try coaching. Shedeur would then flip to Jackson State, which was an FCS school that his father coached at, and in his first 2 seasons at Jackson State, Shedeur Sanders just completely decimated the entire competition, becoming one of the best quarterbacks in FCS and FBS football. He became the first player from an HBCU to win the Jerry Rice Award for Most Outstanding Freshman, and he won the Deacon Jones Award a few years later for the best HBCU player in the country. After his father Deion joined the University of Colorado, Shedeur would follow him, where they helped bring a program that had 1 win a year prior to the forefront of the country, even managing to be ranked 18th in the nation at one point. In 2024, the Colorado Buffaloes already have their most wins in a season since 2016. And mind you, the season isn't even over yet at the time that we're recording this video, but Shedeur Sanders currently leads all Big 12 quarterbacks in completion percentage, touchdowns, and passer rating. Even more importantly, he is giving the Colorado Buffaloes a real opportunity to win the Big 12 conference, which means the Colorado Buffaloes could be in the playoff by the end of this. Fans would say that Shedeur Sanders is being carried by his father in Travis Hunter, but honestly, he is the real deal quarterback-wise. This is not normal arm talent. I mean, take a look at this 40-yard strike over the middle of the field as Shedeur delivers while he's in the process of being sacked. It's obvious that Shedeur Sanders is the #1 QB in the country as of now. And going into the 2025 NFL Draft, the greatest quarterback of all time, who now gets to make decisions for a team out west, might be the one that wants to select him in the first round. Now, being the son of a NFL Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champion comes with its perks, including being able to befriend the greatest quarterback of all time. Shedeur has been mentored by Tom Brady ever since he entered college football due to his father's friendship with him. And when you hear Tom Brady talk about Shedeur Sanders, it's clear that he loves him as a quarterback prospect.
What made you decide that he was special enough to have regard for your time?
Naturally, he's very proactive. We had a conversation and then phone calls and then text messages and then, him making the commitment to say, all right, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm really serious about it. Because a lot of it is, you want to see what their intention is too, because when you see someone that's really open to learning and has this thirst for knowledge, you want to be able to support that, and I think Shedeur is, just done amazing things in a very short. Listen, stay humble, young man over there. I know I'm saying a lot of nice things about you.
Now, this is important to know because recently, Tom Brady has bought a 5% stake in the Las Vegas Raiders. But Tom Brady isn't just going to be a lame duck minority owner. It's been reported that he's actually going to have a significant role in the team's football operations. Usually, an owner being controlling of their team's football operations isn't a good thing. For example, look at Jerry Jones! The guy that said this?
All in. All in, all in. We're all in with these young guys coming up. We're all in with knowing that you have to go.
Also claimed that Derrick Henry wouldn't be able to fit underneath the Cowboys' salary cap.
Derrick Henry didn't fit because principally of managing the cap in anticipation of the players that we were going to sign weeks later or anticipation of the players we're going to be signing in the future.
The general manager that desperately needed a running back and at the trade deadline decided to overpay for Jonathan Mingo? I'm sorry, I tend to get off on tangents whenever it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. But another example is Dan Snyder or David Tepper. They constantly meddle with their team's draft choices or fire a coach or general manager after just one season of underperforming. But Tom Brady isn't them. Tom Brady spent 2 decades learning coaching and the ability to build a roster from one of the greatest of all time in Bill Belichick, and has probably learned a thing or two about ownership from Robert Kraft over the years. If there is one owner who can have a say in his team's football operations, it's probably Tom Brady. So when you combine this with the fact that he loves Shedeur Sanders, it seems like a match made in heaven. But obviously, we would never base a video just off of the fact that Tom Brady happens to be a mentor to Shedeur Sanders. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit deeper than that. There's a crazy coincidence going on here that after each and every single Las Vegas Raiders lost this season, Shedeur Sanders has been posting onto Twitter, "Thank you, God." And before you say, oh well, it's Sunday, maybe he's just praying on the Lord's day, he notably didn't tweet that out after the Raiders' last win on September 29th against the Cleveland Browns. Now, admittedly, that last part is a little suspect, but there are strong signs towards the Raiders drafting Shedeur Sanders. But that leaves one part of the puzzle missing. Does his father approve of Shedeur going to a franchise like the Raiders, who have chewed up quarterbacks and spit them out? Most notably Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, and even all the way back to Carson Palmer.
Now, all this is subjective because I know where I kind of want them to go. So there's certain cities that ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be an Eli.
Well, typically the answer to that question would be no, but what if, and just bear with me here, what if the Raiders also hired Coach Prime?
Never stop father. I built my life around my kids. The moves I made was based on my babies, not me. They was based on what was good for them. So I take pride in that.
What if, to continue to facilitate Shedeur Sanders' success, like Dion has been doing so since high school where he was coaching Shedeur, to Jackson State, to now Colorado, he continues to coach Shedeur but at the next level. Now, on one hand, Coach Prime has spoken about this before.
Is the NFL a goal eventually in your life?
Coaching?
Yeah.
No, not whatsoever. I don't think I'm built for the NFL.
But at the same time, he also said he was never going to leave Jackson State as well, and we all saw what happened just a year after he said that. It's not like coaches are 100% consistent whenever they make promises to their team. I mean, look at Nick Saban, for instance.
I have to say it. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. What? I shouldn't even have to comment on this. I think I've said this over and over and over again.
England battles, second effort, touchdown.
Even if the Raiders don't sign Deion Sanders to be their next head coach, they will in all likelihood fire Antonio Pierce after the season. And when they do, they'll have a fresh slate to build off of. They'll have Tom Brady, a wealth of football knowledge, helping lead the football operations. And they will hire a new coach to build a new culture in the locker room. And no matter who they choose to hire, whether or not Deion Sanders is in that coaching staff, Shedeur Sanders would be the perfect quarterback to lead them forward. Now, the NFL draft is just 5 months away, and with every passing week, we get new clues as to what team wants what player. And if things are what they seem to be, Shedeur Sanders will continue to play in a black jersey. But instead of the black and gold, it'll be black and silver. If you're a Raiders fan, would you actually want this to happen? Do you think the rumors of Shedeur Sanders going to the Raiders are real? Or do you think I need to stop throwing out my speculative theories and focus more on bringing you guys the news and breaking down real life situations in the NFL? Well, if it's the latter, we actually have broken down a recent situation in the NFL regarding Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears coaching staff. DJ Moore doesn't seem to be very happy with the Bears either, and all signs are pointing towards this being one person's fault. We have a whole separate video on that, and I'm going to leave it in the end screen, and I'll meet you guys there. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.